Hello and welcome to Go on Shaw TV. I'm Anand Chandy.
And I'm Joey Only. We're here at Laborde Park in Quesnel, where we're about to have the first ever Pride Parade.
And we're proud to be here for this episode. Let's go check it all out. Welcome back to Go on Shaw TV. I'm Anand Chandy and I'm right here at Quesnel's very first Pride Parade. It's a beautiful day and a huge turnout, as you can see, and some people are talking about this as one of the biggest gatherings in northern BC in recent times. Now, Joey Only actually walked with the people in the parade, and he's walking around here and talking to a few people about what they think about Pride in Quesnel. Let's go see what Quesnel thinks about having their very first Pride Parade.
So we're here with Doug Gook, one of the community activists in Quesnel. Doug, can you please explain to us?
You got a long arm.
He's an excellent. He's an excellent hooper. Doug, please tell everybody about how you never thought this might happen in Quesnel.
Well, you know, I knew it was coming, especially after Ireland's big vote. Like that was, you know. I know Quesnel, I thought we were going to beat Ireland to the punch, but anyway, it's so wonderful to be in Quesnel's inaugural LGBTQ parade here in Quesnel.
The North needs these things. The South has had them forever. When we want them, we have to make them for ourselves. I'm so proud of Quesnel. Look at the turnout. This is better than I've seen in Prince George, for heaven's sake.
It's just a multicultural city now compared to what it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I have family here and I've grown up here before, so it's definitely a lot different than what it was now, because now we can walk around and have fun and have a party where before we couldn't do anything like that. So
CUPE is always about treating everybody equal, about uniting for fairness for all, and we're a strong supporter of Pride.
And I'm very happily surprised with how big the Pride Parade is today, and I think the union movement works hand in hand with the Pride Parade. If we're all together, we're all solid.
It doesn't matter what type of setting or location you are, there's always going to be people from different backgrounds, and you know, in any type of society.
There's a lot of good people, nice people. It's very welcoming, so it has a very good atmosphere.
And as you say, we have all different nationalities, so it's nice when you look at in terms of sexual orientation, you could all feel included in that aspect too.
It definitely is quite a difference to see within the community, and that a lot of people have actually come out compared to the population of Quesnel, so it's a really good start.
I think it's really showing that Quesnel's a town that doesn't want to live in the dark ages forever. That's my feeling. Yeah. We're going to go right now to an interview I did with two of the organizers, Angie and Sarah, my good friends, and this is an interview we did a couple weeks ago. I want to ask you first, why did this town need this?
So basically with the Pride Society, we decided that the town really needed it because there's not a lot for diversity in this town, especially with the LGBTQ community, youth especially. There's nothing really in schools. And just in the community, for people to go, to kind of hang out, ask questions if need be, collect resources. So
in the mid-90s, I taught at the local high school here, and really there was nowhere for those kids to go, nowhere. They felt, as some of them have put it to me recently, like freaks. They didn't feel safe. They felt that they had to hide their sexual identity or orientation. They didn't know where to go. I was pretty young back then, so I wish I had knew now what I knew then, because I would have made a stand then. But honestly, I don't think Quesnel was ready for it. Now, School District 28 has a policy, Policy 318, that addresses this, and it's getting better for kids now. But back 10, 15 years ago, or even 5 years ago, as Sarah pointed out, it was not a good place to grow up if you were gay.
And what would be the result of some of this? Where would the youth turn to? What would they do? What would become of them? What kind of issues would happen?
Just from some of the experiences and stories that I've heard, a lot of substance abuse is a really big one. Definitely things like depression, anxiety, as if they didn't have support as youth, they grow up and not being able to be themselves. They have those kinds of mental illnesses, which is a really big thing, especially in the community. And also, there's a lot of suicide. So that's one of the things that we're really trying to stop. And hopefully, people can have some outreach and talk to somebody before they get to that stage of life.
So it was last August when I first went to the city to ask permission to hold a Pride Parade. I had to wait to January to get the official answer of yes, and then I was able to say, the city was totally supportive, just FYI, very supportive, as is the school district. But in January when we got the word yes, I posted it on Sarah's Facebook page.
So yeah, that's one thing that we've definitely had some discussion about. A lot of people go, well, why do we have a Pride Parade? Why doesn't people have a straight parade? That's like one of the basic things that we've heard a lot of. So basically the point of having a Pride Parade is diversity, being proud of who you are. It's not just about gay people. The reason why we do focus more on the LGBTQ community is because of the oppression that queer people have had to go through over the last year. So showing the colors, showing your diversity that way is definitely why we have it. But everybody's welcome. Doesn't matter your sexual orientation, your gender identity, race. If you're proud to be who you are, come on out. It's a big celebration. So.
Since we're the home of the biggest Pride celebration in BC, it's great to be here at the absolute first Pride celebration in Quesnel. Happy birthday, happy Pride Day, happy #1.
It's been a while. It's a bit of a ways from Vancouver to Quesnel, but I'm glad I made the trip. People here are so welcoming and warm in the Caribou, celebrating the first Pride Parade in Quesnel, Pride celebrations. Pretty exciting for a community like Quesnel to open its doors and embrace lesbian, gay, bi, and trans citizens and say we're a welcoming community. I thought I'd celebrate with them because Vancouver, we have the biggest Pride Parade in BC, and this is probably one of the smallest, but certainly a very passionate one. For a small town to have so many people come out shows incredible support for equality, for human rights, and for action to make sure that everybody feels welcome in BC. And I think really should make our government sit up and take notice and start acting more for equality and to support lesbian, gay, bi, and trans people who face a lot of discrimination from the law, from society sometimes, and make everybody welcome. You can see the people here want it. It just feels so great to be amongst these passionate and warm-hearted people.
And it's not just the MLA of Vancouver's West End community that was proud to see Pride in such a small community.
And thank you for all of you adding to the diversity and strength of our community.
I think the first Gay Pride Parade in Quesnel went off with a bang. It was phenomenal how many members of our community showed up. What I liked about this parade was that it was colorful, but muted. It didn't go to the excesses that some of the other Pride Parades go to in Toronto and Vancouver, that cause grief for families bringing their children because sometimes they're more exhibitionist. I think in the case of Quesnel's Pride Parade, it was colorful, it was tasteful, it was absolutely a family event, and I think it did advance the cause that they were trying to advance, which was that we need to just embrace diversity in all its forms in our community, and that people who are gay or lesbian can be part of our community without fear. When I first moved here 30 years ago, it was hard to be a cyclist that wore Lycra. I ran around in Lycra tights. I had colorful shirts. Nowadays, you look at how many cyclists we've got in town, how many runners we've got in town. It's now an accepted form. Back 30 years ago, people thought that that was really bizarre. The same with respect to what's happening with the residential schools. When I first moved here, that was a dirty little secret that nobody wanted to talk about. We now have a plaque and an annual event, the Orange Shirt Day. People in our community are being accepted regardless of what their stories are, regardless of what their background is, regardless of what their gender or sexual orientation is. We are growing up as a community and we're accepting of the full range of diversity that's in our community. From that perspective, I'm proud of Quesnel. I know some of the early pride parades in smaller communities were small in numbers. The protesters often outnumbered the actual participants, and it caused division in those communities. I saw no division in our community over this. There were no protesters that came out. It was a fun day. There were lots of families in the park, and so from that perspective, we can be proud of how that first Pride Parade came off.
Welcome back to Go on Shaw TV. I'm here with Brianne, Sarah's friend. Now, Brianne, what do you think about today? Today's been totally awesome, hey?
Oh, it's been amazing. The support from the community is unreal, and the drive that Sarah has and Angie, who have started this this whole parade, oh, it's just amazing. It's like heartwarming, really.
What is it like personally to you to see Sarah's victory or Angie's victory through all of this? What does it feel to you? What does it feel like personally?
It's basically like if you have a vision, if you have determination and a passion, you can achieve it. You just have to have that drive. Oh, it's heartwarming, really. It's motivating, really, to be honest. Yeah.
Now, I got to talk to Sarah and Angie, and I wanted to ask you, what Sarah's journey been like from your perspective so far, you being a friend?
Well, I just actually met Sarah in September. We're both doing social work at the college here in Quesnel, but right off the bat, I knew she was someone I wanted to click with. The first day, this is what she wanted to do. She wanted to have a safe place for LGBT members, and it's crazy to see from that point when I first met her to this point. It's unreal. Oh, we love her.
Yeah, totally, I agree with you, and I actually got to sit down with Sarah, and this is Sarah's story about how she came out and what this is all about, actually. So let's go check that out.
Awesome.
I first came out, oh God, I think I was 21. Like, I always found women attractive, for sure. But yeah, I never really started noticing that until I got a little bit more mature, right? Probably like through my teens and stuff. Yeah, I first came out, I guess, to my friends, just, kind of saying like, oh, I kind of fell in love with somebody and this is kind of what's going on. So they were the first supports of, being super supportive. From what I've heard, a lot of kids run away to their friends' houses or someone that they can trust. So I told my mom in a Walmart parking lot. She didn't really understand at first, right? Like, parents sometimes don't, especially if they think, their kids are going to get bullied, or if they don't have supports themselves in the community of, people maybe thinking down on them because their child is gay or something. I felt not me disappointed, but I felt that they were disappointed because this isn't what they wanted from their daughter, and that was really hard for me. So I sought a lot of refuge within my friends. So I met her actually at her ranch, her family ranch. Julia came back from Europe, from Germany. She lived there for almost 2 years. And so she just came back, started living on the ranch again, and I ended up going there and we met that way. And yeah, for some reason I just completely fell in love with her, and I was totally attracted to this person and just asked her to go running with me, asked her to do all this kind of stuff. And so yeah, we eventually hung out, and yeah, we just couldn't stay away from each other, so that's kind of how that happened. I asked her to marry me about 1.5 years, 2 years after that, at a very cheesy, her sister's place. Yeah, doing an Easter egg hunt. I thought it was awesome at the time. Now that I look back, I wish I did it different, but anyway. Yeah, and yeah, we decided to get married last year, and yeah, it was huge. It was a huge wedding. We got married on our ranch, and it was amazing, like huge support. Even with my experience, it wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible either. But you know, I can only imagine what other kids go through, especially being kicked out of the house. You know, their parents actually abusing them because you know they've come out or something like that. Like I was going through a really rough time. You know, I felt completely different. I felt, you know, like a different person, different friends. And people don't think that the coming out process should be like that, and it shouldn't be. But you know, when you get reactions like, you know, your parents, and I was really lucky, you know, my parents didn't kick me out of the house or, you know, weren't anything like that. Quesnel has been pretty good. We haven't had too many horror stories. We've had a lot of parents actually come up and ask, like, you know, we need support, like my kid had came out to me, things like that. And of course, like you don't hear all the stories. So what we've typically heard so far is just either kids running away, you know, whether themselves feeling ashamed of something or their parents making them feel ashamed of something, or you know, support from family, which has been really great. So, but for the ones that do feel like they need to run away or their parents do kick them out, you know, we want to have that support for them ready and available. People put so many definitions on things and, you know, so many labels on things, and it's just like, you know, we have a million labels to identify somebody with their gender or with their sexual preference or, you know, all this stuff, and it's just, you know, just be you. You know, it's okay to feel like a boy or like a girl, or, you know, to like men or to like women, or neither. Like, you know, it's totally okay. I think society puts a lot of pressure in places where really it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I mean, for the kids and stuff, like it's totally okay to have whatever feelings you're having, and if you need to talk to somebody, like, you know, hopefully, like, you know, we're the people that you want to come to, so.
Now, let's go meet Nikki, whose young relative recently came out to her.
One family member actually just recently came out to me, a youth, somebody young, and very near and dear to my heart. He took the course of his, you know, young life so far up to this point to keep it inside and try really, really hard to make everybody happy and to live the way that everybody expected him to live, right? As a boy, you know, straight up, just this way, you know. And so when he came out to me, I cried, of course. I didn't know where the courage was coming from, but I think that it comes from a depth in there that he can't fight. You know, he couldn't fight it anymore. It was so real for him. And you can see the magnitude of it every time he tells somebody else. He told both his parents. It was really difficult to tell his father. His father was incredibly supportive. And since then, he's really come to his own. He's a very colorful person, and he becomes more and more colorful, more and more confident. I saw that it became, he imploded is what had happened, right? And it could have become very dangerous. And the way that I see it is when a child comes out to you, you have two choices. I feel that you have to either, you have to be okay with it or you're not, you know? And then in that case, in that situation, if you're not okay with it, that child has to do two things. You give that child two choices, you know? You either have to force them to completely keep everything and internalize themselves, pretty much living their lives in misery and swimming against the current their entire lives, which can become incredibly dangerous. Or they choose to, they have no choice but to back away from you as a support, as somebody who they confided in. And then you lose your child. So as a parent, or anybody who, any adult who is in the life of this child, and as a support network, or, you know, you have to decide whether you're willing to lose your child or just support them. It's that simple. It's just, every time he tells somebody, he's got somebody else underneath him to help him out, you know, to support him. It's incredibly sad to know that it even has to be an issue, that he has to take it step by step to tell his family and his friends. I wish that it never had to be an issue.
Wherever
I believe our love is strong.
Hey, my name's Adam. Hi, I'm Ken. And I'm with Go Quesnel, and on every episode I try and learn something new. I do not know how to dance, so could you guys teach me how to dance, considering you guys did such a good job of that?
Well, take 1 foot.
1 foot.
And just bounce a little bit.
Bounce a little bit.
Your hips sway.
Am my hips swaying?
It's almost a hula dance, really.
Okay. Okay.
And forward and backward with your feet. 1 foot, the other.
Okay. Oh, this looks like fun. So I'm gonna go and learn how to dance with Ken here. And if you enjoyed that episode of Go Quesnel, send me an email on go_Quesnel@shaw.ca or tweet me at ShawTV, not BC. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.